Benjamin, are you back?
Yep.
All right. What do you want to talk about, Trump? You got a topic?
I mean, just overall, like it. Okay, so I was super MAGA, right? Getting him in for this term, and I've backed off a little bit, but I'm still a supporter of Trump. I still feel like overall, in my eyes, I'm a believer. I believe that it happened the way it did because it was meant to be. The sense that he didn't get elected right away. He had to wait 4 years, and that allowed him for us to see a different side of things, and also allow him to sit back and plan and come back this time around.
I will agree.
Very well prepared.
I will agree that Trump and the administration around him are better prepared to do a more effective job of achieving their policy positions. That is true. The first Trump administration was kind of a incompetent, bumbling mess. That's why there was so much turnover and very few things happened. I mean, he didn't even end up building the wall. I agree. So yeah, that is just like a statement of fact. The administration is more effective at what they're trying to do because they had to wait those 4 years than they otherwise would be. But I would actually just say that you're like closing your eyes to the evidence of the thing that you said yourself that gave you an opportunity to see. We got to see how well America recovered from the pandemic under Biden, and we outperformed other developed nations. How do you feel about that? All those gains are, by the way, are things that we're losing now that Trump is president, like jobs and unemployment and manufacturing and domestic investment in business, all that stuff that Biden created through his policy positions during his presidency that it showed on paper were beneficial to the economic conditions of everyday Americans. Like all those things are evaporating under Trump. How do you explain that?
I feel like the way our government is set up, everything takes forever. So when you have policy changes, man, it just takes forever. And unfortunately for the 1%, the billionaires, millionaires, the elite, they don't notice that time lapse because they don't hurt for anything. I don't think many of them have ever pumped gas. Us, we notice things. I mean, just simple gas prices changing.
You took the example out of my mouth. I was about to say, billionaires don't notice that the gas price goes up because it doesn't matter. They can afford gas. They don't care that food's more expensive because they can afford food. Like, it just doesn't make a difference to a billionaire if a sandwich costs $20 instead of $10, but it makes a difference to hungry people who don't have a lot of money in their bank account. But it does. But those things are getting worse for everyday Americans because of Trump's policies in a very obvious way. Why are you okay with that?
I think that it has to get worse before it gets better. I'm a believer in that. So right now we're going through the worst. I think that's a convenient excuse you've been fed. Oh, don't worry, those gas prices are going to get worse before they get but there's no explanation for why that would ever be the case. Why is he doing things that are bad for the economy? But were they great before this little war with Iran? Were they great?
No. They immediately started being bad when his term started. The liberation tariffs accelerated a lot of these negative trends in the economy, and the general.
I was paying like $1.95, $2, $2.20. $2.30, something in there right before Iran. So
the two examples that people bring up a lot, they don't talk about gas so much anymore. They stopped talking about gas about 5 weeks ago. But the two examples that people brought up in defense of Trump over the last year that I've seen are gas prices and egg prices, which among the basket of goods that everyday people care about in terms of their everyday economic conditions are the two prices that are most volatile and most reactive to things that happen elsewhere in the world. Most changes in gas price, the U.S. president isn't responsible for, and the change in egg prices, the president's not responsible for because it's usually avian, like an outbreak of avian flu that causes them to skyrocket for a second. It's actually unusual that we can blame the president for the gas prices, but we can blame the president for the gas prices because you have to be pretty uneducated about how the world works to claim that gas prices are not higher because of Trump starting the war in Iran, which he directly did.
Are you truly affected in your day-to-day life?
I want you to respond to what I just said. I'll answer that next if you respond to what I said.
Well, I'm sorry. You were saying that.
Yeah, you stopped listening because you wanted to move on to your next thing. So I'll say it again. What I said is that gas prices and eggs are the two things that people generally used to excuse Trump's economic positions. They stopped talking about gas prices because he very obviously sent them sky high by starting the war in Iran. And the president has very little to do with the cost of eggs, which is one small particular component of the grocery store basket of goods.
Who cares about eggs, dude? Who really cares?
I care about eggs. I eat a ton of eggs.
So you'll appreciate the fact that they're cheap. They're the cheapest they've ever been.
They're very cheap. I'm very excited that they're like $1.50. Right, but he didn't do that. The avian flu ended. And groceries in general are more expensive. If eggs went back to $10 a dozen,
you would blame Trump. You would blame Trump.
Like if there was
you would.
No, you're not letting me talk. If egg prices went up to $10 or whatever because there was
you would blame Trump.
dude, if you keep interrupting me, I'm not going to allow you to be on my live. I need to be able to respond to the things that you're saying. So if egg prices went back up to $10, but grocery prices actually went down the way Trump promised that they would, I would call that a net win, because I spend way more money on groceries and stuff generally than just eggs. I, as a person who eats like a ton of eggs, because I like exercise a lot and I need a lot of protein to like run so much as I do, like, yeah, I spend a ton of money on eggs. I eat like 6 of them every day. So it like directly affects my wallet, what eggs cost. But the basket of goods, like groceries in general, which the president actually has greater control over, would be a bigger thing. So like, what's your point?
Eggs are a part of your groceries. So I wouldn't nickel and dime it. I would just say that we have to give him a full term and not just try to nitpick his everyday moves, even though he does keep us informed on a daily basis like no other president has ever done. Like, you can't just nitpick. Like, give him a chance to finish his term, and then we can look back like you described earlier.
How can you argue that the president is keeping us informed when he has a terrible track record?
Every day he's on TV telling us what's going on.
Right, no, but he says like a dozen things, and then like 2 or 3 of them end up being true, and you're calling that being informed, when in reality it's just a confusing information blitz that makes it very hard to tell what he's actually trying to do.
I will say that he's very good at, telling us what we want to hear to pacify situations. I think that, a good leader can do that.
I don't know. I think that a good leader should give accurate and clear guidance to the public. I think that like placating the public by lying to them about what's going on is really bad, because it creates an uninformed public who like might call into a live and defend the things that guy's doing when he's doing obviously bad things. Like you. You're doing that.
I'll say this. I think no matter what, as far as the little things that y'all want to pick on with Trump, I think that if
I'm talking about big things and you're talking about egg prices. Egg prices are a little thing.
I've never mentioned the egg price at all. You brought up eggs.
I brought up eggs as an example, and you stuck on it in the way that
I don't care about eggs. Honestly, I really don't.
Yeah, but you stuck on eggs instead of grocery prices as a whole. That's my point.
My thing is if we didn't get Trump back in and Kamala got in, we wouldn't be a country right now.
Yeah, that's a quote directly out of Trump's mouth. We wouldn't have your country anymore. We wouldn't be a country. What does that mean? What do you mean? Like, would we disappear into the ether?
That means that all the fraud that you're seeing, all the bullshit that you're seeing, bullcrap that you're seeing.
You can say shit. You just can't say any slurs or names of substances.
Okay. Well, I try to control that anyways, just to be a little bit more polite. However, if Kamala got in and that administration, everything that we're now seeing that they're dealing with and investigating, we would have never saw that, and we would have continued to drain our bank account until there was nothing left, because we were headed that direction.
What has cost more money in this America, Somalian daycare fraud or Trump's war in Iran?
Okay, the difference is, I don't know because I don't know the number specifically. The difference is the Iran WAR was necessary, and
why was the Iran war necessary?
Well, because if they were able to build one of those NUKEs, the same people that are crying about why is this war necessary, they would say, "Oh my God, what are we going to do now? They're going to push the button. They're going to push the button."
A moment ago, you claimed that Trump is keeping the public better educated. A few months ago, we bombed Iran's nuclear capabilities. Trump said that they had been completely obliterated and there was no chance of them creating a nuclear weapon. You are now, as he is currently, using their nuclear capabilities as a justification for the war. Was he lying then, or is he lying now?
I'll say that we don't know exactly what he's doing because he can't mention everything.
No. It's a yes or no question. Was he lying then, or is he lying now? Which is it? That's the question.
Maybe he's lying now. I could really care less. I just know that those people,
if he's lying about the things that you're calling in and using as your defense.
Their religion literally says anybody that's not Muslim must die.
Now you're just pivoting to big to.
Well, that's what I'm excited about. We need to get rid of those people.
So you don't care if the president is lying about the things that you're using as evidence to defend your claims in this call?
I don't. I call them lies, call them white lies, call them blue lies. I don't really care, to be quite honest with you. I know that
I would call them
my country is a lot safer, and my grandchildren, my children, are a lot safer environment, because those said people are going to have a very hard time doing anything at this point, especially after tonight.
But they
if
are
there's
no, but
anything
they
left.
are in fact doing things that are affecting you and your loved ones' lives. Like, for example, keeping the Strait of Hormuz closed, which is affecting not just like the cost of gasoline. One thing I want to talk about the cost of gasoline for a second. And fuel
I'm glad you brought that up.
No, I want to talk about fuel generally because like we had a previous call today where we talked a lot about like like how much a person spends on groceries and stuff. And like I think that what a lot of Americans don't understand is that when the cost of gas goes up, it's not just the amount more that you pay at the pump. Gasoline, fuel prices generally affect the cost of literally every single good. Because fuel is used in the production process of literally every single thing. Even if something is like free in a fuel sense to manufacture, the person who did that job probably still drove a car to work. The building that they're in still needs to be heated. The lights need to be on, and those lights come from the energy infrastructure. So when global fuel prices go up, it is catastrophically bad. That's why inflation is predicted to shoot up to something like 4.1, 4.2% this year because of fuel prices, because of this war. So Iran is actively doing things that are bad for Americans because Trump started the war. When if he hadn't started the war, they would have gone back to doing potentially nothing, which would have been better. Not to mention there are now 90
Potentially.
Yeah, so maybe nothing
Safe word
versus
there.
definitely something is better, especially in consideration of the fact that there are now 90 million Iranians who are pretty mad at us for bombing their country. They might be a lot madder tomorrow if Trump follows through on his threats and bombs their infrastructure and completely obliterates their civilization, which is what he's threatening to do. How is that good? How is that good for American people?
Now, once we secure the Strait of Hormuz, well, can you imagine what position we'll be in?
We don't have a means to secure the Strait of Hormuz. Trump has asked for help from NATO for it because he can't do it. And no, we simply can't. There isn't a military mechanism to protect boats against mines.
We don't need NATO. We're soon going to be out of NATO.
Then why is Trump asking for help?
Just to see who would step up, like he said many a times. He wanted to see who would step up. Absolutely nobody did until it was already done, the hard work, because they have no money for their military, so they didn't want to waste anything that they have. And now they want to come in and say, oh, we'll help. Well, too bad, we don't need you. And in fact, we'll pull away from NATO.
You haven't answered.
And now we'll own the Strait of Hormuz.
Okay, you don't like NATO, but again, you said that Iran can't do anything to us, but they are. They currently, today, right now, as we speak, on what is this, April 7th?
Temporarily,
on the morning of Tuesday, April 7th, the Strait of Hormuz is currently closed to energy passing, or really any shipments passing through that Iran doesn't
until tonight.
Support. We'll see about that tomorrow. Maybe we can call in tomorrow and talk about it. But what I'm saying is that you said that Iran can't do anything. I pointed out something that they are actively doing that you just yourself admitted they are currently doing. So you were wrong about that, right? One of the things they can do is close the Strait of Hormuz. They have done that.
Yeah. That's good in the sense that that's just going to piss Trump off enough to where now he's put them in a bind to where he can use that as an excuse to just blow them to smithereens.
All right,
and
hold on. You're so not tracking the way that the things that I'm saying are actual responses. So can I just ask you a couple of questions that are unrelated to what we're talking about?
Depending, but
yeah,
you can try.
I mean, you can refuse to answer. I don't control you, but I just want to know, do you know what the three branches of government are?
Three branches of government?
Yeah.
Legislative? Oh, God. They're on the tip of my tongue. Why would you ask that?
Because you called into a political debate live, and it doesn't seem like you understand how politics work in this country. You don't know your civics, buddy. You're not qualified to discuss
any other
this
day,
stuff.
any other second.
No. You were only able to name one of them. That's a really big problem if you don't understand the three branches of government is fundamental to the way that we protect America from tyranny because of the division of powers, and you don't understand how it works.
Just because I can't remember the three names.
Okay, what do they do? If you couldn't name them because they have like three fancy names that aren't always what we use.
They're not even fancy. That's the sad part.
I'll take the self-burn on that one, dude. But again, if you could describe what they do and how the separation of powers works, then I'll hand the W back to you. But it doesn't seem like you understand American civics. What are the three branches? Not by name. What do they do?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Okay, then you are not qualified to assess whether or not Trump is overreaching his power. And when it becomes clear that that has happened, and we begin to look at this through a historical context, you will experience generational shame for supporting him for the rest of your life.
I just feel
and you can't understand why because you don't know how the American government works.
I don't know. I just feel like this was our only chance to have somebody in like Trump because we'll never have another.
I'm not going to move past it. If I'm not going to move past it, how can you be so confident in your opinions about a president when you don't understand the basic functioning of the United States government? You don't understand basic articles of the Constitution, civics.
Fair enough. However, you're part of the party if you're on the left that supported a guy that shook the air, and you're trying to make me, I
don't even know who or what you're talking about. But again,
Biden, whenever he was on TV, handshaking the air.
Biden was old, and I wasn't excited about him as a president. Can we talk about Trump and the fact that you don't understand how the government works? How are you able to support Trump?
I just know after tonight, we'll have one less person or country to worry about. We'll own the Strait of Hormuz, and we'll be in the best.
If you get your way, it will be the president committing a war crime as described in the Geneva Convention. Are you familiar with the Geneva Convention?
Do you not think that he doesn't understand what his legal position is? Do you not think that he knows? You think he's just going to do it and be I'll just go for war crime?
He does. I think that I do. I think that you don't.
But you think he's just going to do something, not knowing the ramifications of it?
He knows the ramifications. I'm saying that you are being.
So why do you think he would do it? Why do you think that he would do it? Or do you think that he's not going to do it because he's just going to see if they call his bluff?
I would expect that you want the same things for Iran that Trump does. What I'm saying is that he's doing these things by means that are illegal, both by how civics is supposed to work in this country and by international law, because what he's threatening to do to Iran today is a war crime.
So where's Congress at? Exactly. They know better.
Okay, so Congress is part of the legislative branch, and if you understood how civics work better, you'd be able to recognize the type of emergency it is to have people installed in your legislative branch who are also not willing to follow the Constitution, as Trump doesn't, and that's how a democracy falls from within. You can just elect enough people that won't follow the rules, and then suddenly that party can do whatever they want. That's what's happening, and you don't mechanistically understand that because you can't name for me or describe the functions of the three branches of the government or the separation of powers. You are unqualified to talk about this, dude.
Fair enough.
You keep saying fair enough when I say that, so I really want you to let that sink in. I just told you that you were unqualified.
No, it's okay,
I just told you that it's not okay.
It is okay.
It's not okay that you're calling into a live to defend a rapist when you are unqualified to discuss whether or not he's good at the job that he's doing.
Now he's never been accused, so how can you say that though? Donald
Trump is a rapist. He's been accused of it many times. He has sued people for calling him a rapist, and those suits have been thrown out because the judges that looked at the case considered it substantially true that he is a rapist. The only case that he's won is the one where Stephanopoulos, who works for ABC, accidentally said not that he's a rapist, but that he was convicted of rape or something like that, which happens to not be true. So he won that smaller case, but every other case about it has been thrown out because he is a rapist.
And so he's doing jail time. And so
that's not
he's
what I
behind
said.
bars
The legal system is broken, and he's not facing the ramifications that he's supposed to.
There's your excuse. Everything is an excuse.
I'm going to respond. It's not an excuse. I'm going to respond to it directly. You said
everything is an excuse.
No, you said the thing about jail time. I'm going to respond to it directly.
Well, he did this, bud.
No,
he did that.
I'm responding to what you're
going to do this, bud.
I said a thing, and then you responded to it by saying
everything's an excuse.
Are you going to listen to my response, or am I going to kick you? Choose.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can kick me because you get upset because you have...
I'm upset that you're not letting me respond to what you said. I want to respond to your claim about him not going to jail. Are you going to let me respond to that?
You can try, sure.
Okay, so you said that your suggestion is that if he was actually guilty of all these things, he would go to jail for it. Is that correct?
Sounds good to me.
Just making sure that I'm not mischaracterizing your position. You think that if he'd actually done these things, and I'm right about what I'm saying, then he would have gone to jail. How many people implicated in the Epstein files went to jail for the things that they did? Do you know the answer?
1.
2, because there's Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell.
2.
Right? Okay, so let me ask you this. Is nobody else implicated in the Epstein files? Is that the correct number of people to go to jail for Jeffrey Epstein's sex crime ring? Is there no other adults that were accused of doing something bad enough with enough evidence for them to be prosecuted and to go to jail?
I think there's more that needs to be in jail for sure.
Oh, I'm suggesting that Trump might be one of them, but you're saying that he couldn't be because he didn't go to jail.
Right, because if he was, Biden and them would have had him thrown in there so fast, your head would have spun off.
The president isn't supposed to control the DOJ to the degree that Trump is, and Biden respected
I
that
know.
as
We
his role
follow
as
the
president.
rules when we want to. For this reason, we don't.
Well, we follow
For
the
that
rules when the
reason-
president is a Democrat these days. When it's Trump, we don't. But again, you just
Right.
said, no. You're moving on to Biden, but I want to take us back to what we just said. You said that if he was guilty, he would be in jail. You admitted that there are guilty people who are not in jail. So how can you then conclude that he's not guilty because he isn't in jail when you admit...
Somebody says Biden didn't want to control the DOJ.
I'm not talking about Biden. You said that Trump would be in jail if he was guilty. I pointed out to you and you agreed that there are guilty people who should be in jail but are not. Then that is a dismantlement of your own argument about the fact that Trump would be in jail if he was
Right.
guilty. So do you concede that point that Trump
So-
wouldn't necessarily be in jail if he's guilty?
Why aren't you mad at the administrations before that had all this that could have put somebody in
I'm mad
jail?
at every single person who has ever worked on the Epstein investigation and didn't...
As we all should be.
Yes, great, correct. Now answer my point. Do you concede that you cannot exonerate Trump by pointing out that he isn't in jail when you know that there are people who belong in jail who are not?
I feel it needs to be investigated more.
Answer the question. Do you concede that you cannot exonerate Trump because he's not in jail when you yourself admit that there are guilty people who should be in jail who are not?
I mean, sure. I mean, I think that's a fair statement.
All right, so will you never again point out to anybody that Trump is not in jail when they say that he's guilty of doing these things?
I'll say this.
are
If
you
he
gonna-
was
are you gonna
guilty,
say
he
that-
would already been in jail.
No, like we just went through all this. You just admitted it. Like, what are you talking about? Like, I understand he hasn't been found criminally guilty and like sentenced to something, but I'm saying that he did the crime. I'm saying that he did the bad thing and that he should be in jail for doing it. And one of the things I'm upset about, one of the reasons I do these lives is because the president isn't being held accountable for their crimes, and that's what I'm upset about. You said yourself that some people aren't held accountable for their crimes. I got you to admit that Trump isn't necessarily innocent because he's not in jail, because he could be one of those people who is guilty of the crime but didn't get charged or convicted for it. And then you, when we concluded that conversation, immediately fell back to saying, yeah, but he'd be in jail. What's wrong with you, dude? Does your brain work?
I did just dye my hair blonde, so I don't know. I just we'll see what happens. Give him the rest of his term. Great things are coming this way.
Is this you
You'll
signing off? You're
appreciate
gonna
it
run
later
away?
on when we look back.
I'm not done with you. You're going to run away?
I'm not running away. I mean, I'm here, but like you say, I know that we'll look back and we'll see that we had to have Trump in at this time.
Oh, okay.
I think it's a blessing
In the future, I'll know that you're right. But right now, you can't show me that you're right.
We're still going through it.
Yeah, dude. And the thing that you're excited about happening in Iran tonight is a war crime.
I'm not real worried about like the little bit of gas price and the little bit of grocery at the. It doesn't like those day-to-day
I
things.
can't
we
even
dealt
remember
with
if it was you or
since-
the previous caller because all these calls blend together. But you do recognize that the gas prices increasing is bad in a way that is significantly bigger than just gas costing more when you go fill up your car, because the cost of gas prices affect the cost of everything else because we use fuel and energy infrastructure
But do
for
you
literally
notice
everything.
it? I don't notice it, so I can't. and
Yeah,
don't
I noticed that the expected inflation rate for this year is expected to go up to 4%. Also, I do drive for work. I think you do also, according to your username.
Yes,
Benjamin,
I
the
don't
truck
pay
driver.
for it, but yes.
Sure. But
I
the
see
company,
it.
right?
Yeah.
But the company that you work for pays for it. So whatever you're delivering in your truck is going to be more expensive because the delivery company had to spend more on fuel. How do you not understand that? And yes, it does affect me personally because I drive for work, and I do pay for the
I
gas.
completely understand that. I'm saying I'm willing to go through all that to get to the other side. And when we get to the other side, I think it'll be all worth it. I think that
Right, dude, you're being
by the
lied
time
to.
the next-
You don't even understand how the government works, but you believe that when you're being told it, dude. Like you should be panicking right now, realizing that you are absolutely unqualified to even have a reasonable opinion about this. You need
panicking for what?
because the country's in danger and you can't understand why.
How is it in danger now?
You can't understand because you don't understand civics. Are you going to go learn civics? Are you going to go learn?
If we were like all the other countries appreciate Trump for who he is, and that's what's cool about
false.
Trump.
That is false. We are a laughingstock on the international stage. If
You want to say that, but nobody else is.
If you look at the leadership the world over, people who support Trump, it is a group of fascistic war criminals. And if you look at the people who are ashamed of Trump, it is what are quickly becoming the true leaders of the free
people
world.
that are ashamed of Trump are the ones that were getting a free pass with the other past administrations and who are now like not getting that free pass. They're like, damn, dude, come on, man.
I don't know what
give
free,
me the basketball back.
I don't know
man.
what free pass you're talking about, but I want to go back to a thing I said a second ago that you ignored.
That they got from
I'm going to go back to
all
something
your tax money. Your tax money.
Do you consider it a problem?
You're worried about gas prices, but not about.
I'm worried about the price of everything because fuel prices affect the price of everything.
You're worried about fuel prices and not all your tax money given away. That's crazy. Give me my taxes and I'll pay $6.
You're pivoting really hard and talking over me and not responding to any of the things that I'm saying. So like, let me.
I'm just saying.
I'm trying to ask this last point before I move on to somebody else. Do you recognized earlier in the call that you are like not qualified to discuss this or have a reasonable opinion about it? I laid that out for you.
You can keep saying that I don't know.
You said fair enough to that assessment about yourself multiple times.
I mean, if that makes you feel like something, great.
Are you going to go educate yourself about how the government works? Are you going to go read up on your civics?
No, but I am going to watch tomorrow morning all the
so you have learned in this call that you are unqualified to discuss the functioning of the United States government, and you are not going to go fix that.
It's legislative, executive, and
it's too late, dude. Like the chat spoiled it for you, and you've had time to research it. But
give me the first letter at least. Give me that chance.
J.
First letter.
J.
Huh? No, it's not.
Legislative,
judicial. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, I just said J, and you said no, it's not. What are you talking, dude? Like you already demonstrated.
And then I said judicial.
And earlier in the call, you
a little bit.
No, you don't get a point at all. None. Nothing. You get nothing.
Executive.
You get fascism. Is what you get for thinking this way.
Give me a little bit of
No, you get tyranny. You get a police state.
Man, all right. Well, it's been fun, and I will read up a little bit.
It has been fun. I'll give you that. Please do read up. I care about you, and I want your life to be happy and healthy. And I think that you will have a better grip of what's going on if you go learn your civics. So if that's my victory for the day, is that you go study civics, I'm going to call that a win, and I'd be really happy for you if you did that. It's a nonpartisan thing. Voting Americans should understand civics.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you. I'm going to go get my run on.
You do that. Running's good for you. I'm a runner too. Everybody should go.
Yes, sir. I just lost 120 pounds.
Proud of you, buddy. That's awesome.
Appreciate it.
Okay, that was Benjamin Lee, truck driver. Oh my gosh. Okay, I really hope he goes and reads about civics.